Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ MV, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building.
Yes, sir.
Rose. Rick
Rose, the boss in the building, man. Port of Miami 2 in stores. What's up?
Welcome
What's
back.
up?
Well, first, let me say thank you. I want to say thank you. I don't think I thanked you. When I was doing my first car show last year, Ross called me and said, Envy, I got some cars that I want to put in the show. And at the time, I really didn't have a budget. I didn't have much money to put on the show because I do everything by myself. I put the show on by myself, if people know. I pay for everything. And Ross was like, no, you ain't got to pay nothing. I'm going to bring all the cars, not just one, all the cars down, all the bikes down for your show. And I just want to say thank you. I appreciate that. I didn't reach out to you. You seen what I was doing. I just want to say thank you.
Why you ain't reach out before this?
I might have said thank you, but I wanted to do it. I wanted to do it publicly because that was a lot, and I wanted to say thank you.
That's
all.
amazing.
But you know, when I think back to it, I really don't recall it. So now I'm disappointed because was I underwhelming? Which whips did I send? Did I send enough whips?
Well, the whips never got there.
Oh, the whips never.
The truck broke down right on the highway, so we never got them there.
Okay.
Oh, so the cars were.
So why you thanking him? Just for the thought? The
He
thought that
tried.
counts?
He sent them truck. He sent the cars from Atlanta and made it to Jersey. We couldn't get it there in time. We got it there, but it was after. But just the fact that he said, "Yo, Envy, I got you," and sent it without me asking. I just thought that was dope because a lot of times you don't get this in the industry. It's always something else that somebody does it for a favor, like, "Oh, I'll play this record for Ross because I need him in my club," or "I did this." He just did it out the kindness of his own heart.
No.
And I thought that was real.
No. I support my homies. I try to. You know what I'm saying? Even when I see the homie who I know halfway crazy talking about mental health, I reach out to him every now and then. Boy, I see you losing it, boy. Rose gonna hold it down for you. You got some dudes that's gonna hold it down for you. I'm gonna come smoke one with you even if you crazy. You know what I'm saying? That's how it goes. Yeah. You over here, you done got a little thicker since last time I seen you.
All right, don't get in no trouble now, Ross.
Nah.
Remember what happened last time?
What? I ain't never get in no trouble.
Yeah, you did up here. You even wrote about it in the book, Hurricanes.
Nah.
Yeah, you did.
Nah, you getting that money, I can see it in your smile. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I read Hurricanes, man. You wasn't scared to tell that much truth?
Man, you know what? I haven't read the book, and to me, you know, shout out to my homie Neil who wrote it with me.
Salute to Neil.
He sat side by side with me for, man, felt like over a year, and he talked to 65, 70 of my closest homies. So I never read the book, but I felt like if it made it to the,
You want to make sure it's all correct? I have it right here if you want to.
Nah, because
Bro, you might want to read it.
He might
There's a lot in there, Rose.
I'm gonna be
There's a
honest,
lot of
and
names,
that's what
names.
A
I
lot of
know.
names.
What you got to realize is my life is a film, and what's not in the book is nothing that's gonna prosecute nobody. Because what make me a boss is not what I say. What make me a boss is what I don't say. And real Miami real hitters know how I get down. So the book, we gonna make it into a real big movie.
Oh yeah, that's you when you're reading it, you can see that.
Yeah. So when we get ready and make the movie, and the movie gross $150 million the first weekend, and I go get all my homies out the chain gang, they gonna say, Rose, round of applause.
I still want you to do an audio cookbook because the way you describe things, man, even in the book, you was describing your mother's cooking, and I was just like, I would love to taste that.
And then guess what? You know, my mama cooked the best. You know what I'm saying? You know, I was raised on that. I love her. Ella, I love you. But look, give me one of the pointers that was in the book that was kind of what was mind blowing.
Just the fact of all the people you named from Miami that either you used to see hustle or that you used to hustle with. And when I was reading it, I said maybe he feel comfortable talking about it because a lot of them already went and did their time.
Yeah, you got to realize anybody that I spoke of, I spoke of that was legends in the streets of Miami that done came back home.
Like what, Kenneth Williams? I think.
Kenneth, he got life. I'm gonna bring him home. That's on my back.
Booby.
That's my dog, Booby. You know what I'm saying? He was accused. He was featured on America's Most Wanted, but there was never any witnesses that witnessed him to all these homicides. And those are the points that I made sure I highlighted. He was accused of X amount of homicides and all of this, but he was actually prosecuted for firearms indictment. You understand? So it was only what they felt they could prosecute on. And so they created a whole nother legend around it, and I made sure I highlighted that because we got to bring Kenneth Williams home. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of people with life sentences who told and testified on him who came home. You know what I mean? And he still haven't done an interview yet. So so we move different from Carol City. So this book that I'm doing, that's what I'm most definitely highlighting. Michael Delancey gotta come home. Because once again, he's prosecuted, serving 40 years for something that they never had eyewitnesses for. They prosecuting dudes based on a street legend, which ain't right.
And you almost ended up getting caught up in all of that too, because your name was listed, but they didn't identify you by your real name.
They just used to call you a fat boy in the truck or something?
Yeah. They used to call me different things, and I was actually in Jacksonville and was pulled over, and I got caught up in some different things, but I was number 3 on the unindicted co-conspirator list of 40 people. You understand? But the reason I wasn't from that city, and the main 2 people that was telling only knew me as Fat Boy. And so, like I said, man, it's a lot of different things that, we discussing. Shout out to the ladies, you know what I mean? Shout out to my big homies that we bringing home. And I ain't never been in a courtroom with nobody else getting prosecuted, so I could never tell you what that's like. So, but I most definitely let you know what the legend is I grew up around. So when I told y'all in 06 I'm the biggest boss, I really meant I was going to come and get the most paper, regardless of how many records I sold, how much my tour tickets was. Rose, you do the smallest tours, but I had the realest niggas there.
How come why are you telling the story now? And when you first got in the game and there was so much controversy, you could have told the story now of your life and said, everything that you're talking about is funny, but this is the real. Why tell a story now?
Because really, it was more about let your hustle and your actions speak for you. This is the only way you really could prove who the real hustlers are. Not who make the biggest hit record of the summer, not who got the biggest buzz, and not who got the best stylist. We're going to look back a decade from now and see who got the most money, who made the most moves, who made the most millionaires, who put the most people in power, who really getting paper. That's what we're going to see. And you can't talk your way into that. And I understood that. But I felt, look, 10 albums later, it was a lot of people, like I said, selling a lot more records. But over that time span, they ain't nowhere close to getting the paper I'm getting.
You pointed at the homie Sam Sneak. You met him he was just playing your record. You didn't even know him.
Nah, he snuck in the club. He was 14, walked up to me, pulled my shirt. I looked down, boy, you 90 pounds. What's up? Man, I love you, man. Man, I heard your first mixtape. Damn, boy, you heard me? I'm going to be a DJ. Well, you my DJ. Because I just put out some records. I don't got a DJ. I never talked to nobody about a DJ. I never knew I needed a DJ. Now you my DJ. And guess what? Maybe 2 years later, he had started working in a strip club. And my homies that was getting money, who sat in the club every day, hey, boy, somebody who play your records every day. And I heard this for damn near a year. And I finally bumped back into him. Man, you remember me? You said I was your DJ. Boy, where you been at? I've been in this, what that was, Diamonds. That was Diamonds, right? Yeah, Club Diamonds, strip club Diamonds, yeah.
And he's still 90 pounds.
He 125 now.
125.
Yeah. He eat that lemon pepper heavy.
The other part I like about the book is how you talk about how you just used to be so angry.
Yeah.
Just used to be so angry that you either couldn't get on, and then when you finally got on, things weren't moving the way you wanted to.
Yeah. So I not to cut you off, but I was upset. I was full of anger. I felt I had the talent. I felt I had the ambition. I felt everybody who believed on me went to prison, everybody who spent their last on me, and I felt I owed my hood that. And so I began dissing anybody that I felt would be in my way. I dissed the record label. I dissed the radio. I dissed the writer. I dissed anybody. And back then, I was doing blogs, swinging pistols, and, man, we was talking crazy. As I got up here now, my mama called me, well, you getting real money now. You got to do what's right. You know what I'm saying? Because, it was different. And then once you became as an artist, you start being online, and people who don't know you and don't know where you from and don't know how y'all really rock, you see them. I wasn't used to that. Oh, niggas talking crazy online.
It was nice to see you, like, hanging out with Redman, in the book, and stories like that people didn't know.
A lot of people ain't know, and to me, that's one of the reasons I feel I got the best ear when it come to picking production, is because I'm from the South, raised in the South, love West Coast, love East Coast music, and before I even knew what 16 bars was, I was sleeping on the floor in Eric Sermon basement, listening to him produce records, loop records, and, so it's a good chance I know more about EPMD, Eric B. and Rakim than a New York MC.
I never knew anything about that. I knew about the Suave House situation.
Right.
I never knew about the Eric Sermon.
Yeah, I was, and that's who, shout out to Tony Draper. That's who actually flew me up there.
Mm-hmm.
And when Tony Draper got in, looked like he might have been, some things in the streets going on. That's who actually said, yo, I don't want to hold you up. I believe in you, homie. I made a call down there to Miami Slip and Slide Records. I'm going to put some money in your pocket, but more importantly, keep you in the studio. And I was like, yo, you're a big homie. And
then there was a lot of urban legends that got cleared up because everybody back in the day used to be like, yo, when T.I. did I'm Talking to You, it was probably about Ross or Wayne. But then you did have a little issue with T.I.
Yeah, and to me, that was just the way I supposed to came in the game. Mm-hmm. I was raised by real go-getters, real hustlers. Nobody bowed down to nobody. Me coming in the game, and T.I. was really at the forefront of the Southern movement for my generation. Called, you the king, you the this and the that. And if you gonna come in the game, that's how you gotta come. You gotta come shooting at whoever at the top. So that's how I came.
But the beef was over something so petty.
Of course, all the beefs are over something petty. It's because you don't know nobody. It can't be real if you really from the streets. And if you if you don't know nobody, if you killed one of my homies at the car wash 2 years ago, you got a real problem with me. And it's different from rap. You dig? And so I had never really met Tip. But I just knew that was the position I wanted. That's why if anybody want to come in the game and if they want to step on Rose toe, I most definitely understand your point of view, but you better be prepared, boy.
You said in the book that you didn't, you was beefing with T.I. because Kanye gave him a beat you wanted.
It was.
Look what I got.
Yeah. That beat was so dope.
Yeah, hell yeah, that shit was fire.
And I heard that beat so long before Tip got it, and I just knew T.I. the man. Mm-hmm. And on some G talk, I'm big enough to say that now. It wasn't nothing really personal. It was the position he was in. When you said you the king of the South, nah, man, I'm the biggest boss in the game. I'm bigger than all these dudes. And it ain't matter who it was. At one point, I don't care who it is. Mm-hmm. And, that's just what my mindset was because I knew the real I am and where I'm from, it's way deeper than rap music. And whatever we get into on some music, when we run into each other backstage or when y'all really see how we get down, it's going to cease. That's just how I always felt.
When did y'all ever speak and squash it out? Did y'all ever have that conversation and laugh it off?
Me and Tip, just coming past each other. Mm-hmm. When we make eye contact, we came past each other. We dapped each other up, and we just spoke, and we ultimately collaborated. Mm-hmm. Pledge Allegiance, it was a Tip record. And I came over there to his studio, we shot the video, and we got to the money. Mm-hmm. And that's ultimately what it's about. So if it's anybody that's watching that, that's what two bosses ultimately do. You get to the money. Mm-hmm. You dig? If it's any differences, if it ain't nothing real, I'm going to tell you to get to the money. That's rapper shit to me, if it's anything other than real.
Same thing with Jeezy. It wasn't really an issue there.
I ain't even know Jeezy. It was just, when you sitting in the club and the nigga got 20 records back to back, bamming. You know what I'm saying? All your hoes vibing to they shit. That's that ambition in you. Mm-hmm. It wasn't something personal, nah. I like the way Dog Jules was swinging. I like how Dog moved. Mm-hmm. He ain't never moved nothing to me other than the ambition in me. Mm-hmm. And if it was somebody I felt that maybe me coming up, that I looked at and felt had more money than me, had more paper than me, had more bigger records than me, it ain't a lot of people like that now.
That's hating though, Ross. You would call that a hater now.
No, I ain't gonna call that a hater because I know the difference between a hater. A hater is with somebody that ain't even in the game. Who got something to say.
I got you.
A hater is somebody that don't do what you do every day, but wake up every day and speak about how you do what you do.
I get it.
Nah, that's a hater. Mm-hmm. If somebody at another radio station get up and watch your show every morning, that's studying. You consider that hating?
I get what you're saying.
Nah, that's just like Jay-Z. That's just like Big. That's just like Ice Cube. That's just like Jay Prince and Rap-A-Lot Records. I had to study them. I had to study Puff. I never hated on Puff. Those were some of the first dudes to give me 7-figure checks here, boy. Much love, big homie. Rock boy. Jay-Z, I studied them for years. It's never hating. Hating is when you not even in the game. That's when you hating. If somebody that's a young lady that aspire to be who you are, if she watch you every day and if
And
Once
be like, she whack, I can't stand
one
her.
day
She's
out of
so
the
corny.
one day out of the week, she said, "I don't like your hairdo that day."
Right.
Is that hating? I don't know. It depends on what the passion like. Me, it wasn't hating because I knew if I was ever in position, I would open the door for the same youngsters that's in that position. It could be I ain't had no. It's a lot of things I could come up with, but it's a difference between hating. Hating is when right now, when I'm on top of the game and got the most paper, I could still be stepping on toes. I don't do that. If you do, you done crossed the boundary. Other than that, every time I cross somebody, it don't matter what it is, as long as you hustling and you got a smile and that energy good, I'm going to tell you how to get to it. I'm going to point you to Yvette over there. I want to do this. I'm going to point you to Sam Sneak over there. And if somebody tell you I move any way other than that, I need to crush them for no reason.
And you also say in the book Hurricanes, you and Jay-Z had a street connect. Like y'all was tied, y'all had street ties.
No, I said most definitely that some of my big homies and, that just came home, New Hove. So a lot of people used to always come to me and say, Rose, how you and Jay-Z got so many records together? And like I said in the book, what I tell you is not what make me a boss, it's what I can't tell you is what make me a boss. And if you can't read between them lines, this book may not be for you. And I understand if you stay on blogs all day looking at what shirt and chain Envy gonna wear. That's cool. And ladies, if you want to know how her hairstyle gonna be and what color her lips gonna be when Rose come, I understand. But if you want to go deeper than rap, that's what it is.
Where did you get the mentality from? Like, there's so many different artists you see in the game that their career has been short and don't do anything. But from the gate, you were buying checkers, buying Wingstops, buying real estate, buying properties. Like, you had a game plan from the beginning. Where did that come from?
That came from Carol City. That came from MIAO. That came from me really growing up around real hustlers. I really come from where you could have money. You could have a hit record, your first album out. You could be double platinum and one of your dudes from coming here, boy, you ain't got no money. You ain't did nothing yet, boy. And really mean it. I was 3-4 albums out and had homies still telling me that. Well, you think you got a little paper now? That little 10 feel good, huh? That little 10 feel good. That 10, boy, I fucked that up in 2 weeks. Yeah. So when you really think like that, you gotta multiply. And maybe other places, other artists wasn't thinking of investing $25 million in the franchises or another 20 over here, but I was. Because, well, you ain't did nothing. Like I said, my homie was 26 when his estimated net worth was $80 million. So when I talked about getting real money, I was talking about getting real money. And now I'm trying to see what it feel like when you put your name on certain things and when you don't attach it to certain things. Because there's a lot of people eating some of rosé and don't even know it.
Yeah, my daddy used to. My daddy used to always say, when you open up a business, don't put your name on it because niggas are hate for no reason.
A lot of times they do, but guess what? I'm finna get back and see.
You ever get so low? Like, you ever get low and be like, this is what I have to do? Or was you always up? Like, we talked to T-Pain the other day, and T-Pain was like,
That's
he had $40 million and lost it, and then he got back up. You ever got low like, damn, I gotta think different, or you was always up?
Once I started getting music industry money, you made sure I kept that separate from other things, and so as soon as I started getting music industry money, I didn't spend a dime for my first maybe close to a year, at least 9 months to a year. I didn't buy a car. I didn't buy nothing. I ain't want nothing. I wanted to see what that looked like, sitting right there, and I want to see what this looked like. I know what brown bag money looked like. When we was talking brown bag money, that was real, boy. When I told you Rose was mad, boy, and me being used to money, the only reason I'm in the position I am, and I always solidify my family. And when I say used to money, it don't matter if I'm talking 1,000, 10,000, 100, or 10 M's. It don't matter. If you seeing progress, if you making moves, you could always make that turn into something else. You know what I mean? So I just want y'all to understand that. And when you read my book, you got to read between the lines and a lot of things.
That's the crazy part. It ain't really much to read between the lines. So
There's a lot in there.
I can imagine what you didn't tell.
He don't know. He didn't read it yet.
He didn't read it.
No, I didn't read it yet.
told it.
But like I said, tell me something that's mind blowing.
Right.
I want to hear it.
I ain't gonna say. I mean, I'm from the South, so I know a lot of dudes who was getting money like that. I was just shocked that you was talking about it in that way.
I got money in your city. I told you that years ago.
Yeah.
2 Notch Road.
2 Notch Road.
Columbia,
Yep.
South Carolina, the Fairfield Lane. And the nigga that you ain't that important to Google that. Niggas ain't pulling out MapQuest for Charlemagne. I know you crying, your mind slipping and all that. But, boy, and I'm just trying to say, you know, I'm blessed to be here.
Word.
I put that in the music. When I woke up out the hospital is when I decided to write the book. I said, you know, maybe this. I'm gonna press the gas on something I usually may not have done yet, because usually dudes write memoirs when they career over, whatever it is. And I just felt like, yo, and you know, as you can see, on a positive note, film companies already reaching out.
Yeah, I think it's
to license and make a movie of my book before the book even came out. So I most definitely approached it like a film. You know what I'm saying? But my real homies that Neil got to sit down with, and they as real as it comes. So it wasn't about me proofreading what they talking about. You know what I'm saying?
How do you adjust from being in the streets to dealing with music industry people? Because I know that's hard too. There's a lot of promises of things that'll never happen and people bullshitting you. How did you make that transition?
First and foremost, you got to understand everybody don't live by the codes and fundamentals you do. So when I give a young artist my word, hey, Rose, man, I want to do this video, I want to do this verse, and I look at them like I was that same dude for 15 years before I ever got on. Or I may look at them like the next young Sam Sneak and could be one of the greatest A&Rs and go from A&R to whatever else God got help for him. But I was on that underdog, and I still keep myself in that underdog position. If y'all don't notice the way I move, I could separate myself from anybody and just be on my own island and, well, Rose Nah, I love being around highly successful people. I love looking up to people that got more than me. I don't have no problem with that. God is great. That can inspire me. But like I say, the rules I live by, that's cool. Whatever position I'm in, I'm fine with that. But I'm going to just make sure I stay loyal and work my way up to whatever it is I got to do and be. And so when I'm around dudes with a lot more, they comfortable. They see the game that I want to absorb. You know what I mean? Shout out to Jay-Z. Shout out to Diddy. Shout out to Draper. Shout out to Jay Prince. And, you know, all the names go on.
So you got to tell us, let's talk about the album. Why wasn't Pusha T on Maybach Music 4? What really happened with that record?
What really happened was I just felt it wasn't going to help get them together, not right now. Mm-hmm. As you can see, nobody wanted to see the record done more than Rose. Mm-hmm. That's why I put it together.
And they were both fine with being on that song once they found out? They were okay with it?
Both of them cleared the record. So I can't put it on either party. Mm-hmm. They both cleared the record. You know, you dig? But like I say, the bigger picture was this going to help bring them together for the bigger cause, making bigger moves, or was this going to help feed the bullshit?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How did you decide what verse to keep then?
But I sent it to Wayne first.
Okay.
I sent it to Wayne first. Wayne knocked it down, blessed it, and that's when I had the idea. This would have be dope for the streets, not just Rick Ross. And if they come together, which I want to see, and it ain't have to be on my record, but I'm finna send this to Pusha. And I just sat back, smoked, looked at Sam. and you know, I just sat back and, you know, either one didn't know. So I just wanted that positive vibe.
And you decided not to put it out together because you just wanted to make sure it wasn't gonna feed the bullshit.
Was this gonna feed the bullshit? Was they gonna turn this and pit them against each other, or was it gonna be celebrated the way I wanted to be as a dope ass record? And damn, them two of the dopest in the game right now on a record that Rose put together.
So when you tell
that was the joy out of me.
So who leaked the Pusha verse?
I'm not sure who leaked the Pusha verse.
But we glad it happened.
No, I just knew that would ultimately happen because it'd been mixed and mastered by different people, been touched, you know, and I'm sure it wasn't Pusha, but whoever did it, you know, they did it. And I'm sure, and ultimately to me, the bigger picture was having the record put together because I don't feel it was, you know, meant, and I don't think the lames would even pit that against each other.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of these beefs that we see are some BS. Who's able to talk to you and be like, look, that beef you had, because you talk about some yourself that you've gotten over and realized what it was at that time.
Right.
Who talks to you and tells you that's some BS beef that you have going on? You got to squash that.
A lot of people don't talk to me because they love beef just as much as I do.
Mm-hmm.
But like I say, at the end of the day, I'm a businessman. You know what I mean? So, and after me going through beef and having differences and realizing at the end of the day, it ain't nothing to gain from that. If it was, we could do it every day. I don't lose no sleep.
Mm-hmm.
My jokes are funnier, my raps are better.
Are they really shooting Coming to America 2 in your house?
Better believe it.
Damn.
You're talking to the king of Zamunda.
And you're in the movie also?
Hey, girl, I like those braids.
Are you in the movie also?
Yeah, I had to work that in there.
Of course.
So hold on, is your house going to be the castle?
To be loved. To be loved. Hey, I can't give y'all no details of the film. All I can tell y'all is that it's star-studded, it's going to be legendary, and Rose in it.
Who makes that call? Did Eddie reach out to you and say, "Man, I want to shoot this in your house"?
They shoot a lot of stuff for his
See,
in his house.
I can't give all the secrets away.
Yeah, I feel you.
Because you know that land is a huge, man. It's such a profitable.
That house is a great investment.
Highly.
They say you got another house down there too. That when they shoot, you go live in the other house. How many homes do you own? I know everything.
Get out his pocket.
I don't even remember.
Damn it, that's a good problem to have.
It is.
But you talk about in the book how the police there was harassing you for a little minute.
They was.
Yeah.
They was, and ultimately that's when I got that case. You know what I mean? And man, I had to spend a lot of money, few years. Rest in peace, Black Bo, my co-defendant. We both ultimately, overcame the situation.
Mm-hmm.
But it most definitely at first, it was a big thing. Rick Ross just bought Evander Holyfield, former 200+ acre estate. It was something that the community had to get adjusted to.
Mm-hmm.
How's your health now? We heard the story a couple of days ago.
You
look great.
You look healthy, happy.
You look great. We heard the story a couple of days ago that it was like Rose had a health
I just
problem.
wanted the record to show Ross turned to the woman and said what I look like.
Yeah.
Envy couldn't wait to answer.
I said Ross look good.
Yo,
I can't say my brother look good.
Yo, cut that out, man. Cut that out. He
Continue.
didn't say I look good quicker than she did.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
My brother look good.
Hey, yo, this dude
You want some funniest, man. That's that pride. He got that pride.
Yo,
So go ahead. So Rick Ross looks good.
So, like as I was saying, it was I guess something that came out a couple of days ago that said that there was a emergency with you in your health. I thought, but everything was fine. What happened with that?
Everything was good. What happened was I woke up and my voice was gone the other day, and I had another dope interview. Ultimately, it came down. I did a lot of interviews promoting the album. I did a lot of performances, and I really just went hard. So I just went to sleep, woke up, and my voice was gone.
Mm-hmm.
What that was, Evie, you've been giving me what that is? Manuka honey. Shout out to Manuka honey.
Manuka, some ginger.
So
honey.
yeah, it took me maybe I had to miss maybe 2 or 3 interviews.
Okay.
Reschedule some things just to let my voice relax. But I'm back.
All right.
Yeah.
You said it's been almost a decade and you still nobody's favorite. You can't possibly feel that way.
Sometimes just sometimes when you sit back and you compare a lot of things, those bodies of work that we put together, the things we the movement and our entire purpose, what I really represent. That's what I think. When I talk about buy back the block, when I talk about ownership, when I talk about being a boss, when I talk about having to work for everything, when I talk about coming from mud to the marble, it's more people in that position than the other positions.
Right.
There's more people that didn't learn pre-algebra like me. You know what I mean? And I got a little paper now, and I've never still had to use pre-algebra.
Mm-hmm.
They should take that shit out of the curriculum.
I've been saying that for the longest.
X equals A. I ain't never had to come across that.
But you learn entrepreneurship in the street, though.
Better believe it.
Free market enterprise.
And better believe it. And I feel like me seeing things taught me better. So the school they should have transferred me to, instead of trying to put me in the school with the kids with the bad attitudes, they should have put me in school where you just watch film every day.
Right.
Teach me through film. I like to see lions run down deers and stuff like that. I learned from that.
What's your top 3 albums for Ross? If you had to rank Ross's top 3 albums.
My favorite 3 that I done myself?
Yes, your top 3 albums.
I would say Port of Miami 1 because that's what introduced me to the world. I would possibly say Deeper Than Rap because I was speaking for this point of view with this book, just trying to open the door, just trying to crack the door to let people know it's a difference from Rick Ross and these other dudes. Even the dudes that was most celebrated, they wouldn't last where I was from. They wouldn't last. And I wasn't just being a hater. I just was telling people just it's way too real. You got to really look people in the eyes where I'm from. You got to really say what you mean, and you got to really, really be about that. And it's a difference. And possibly this Port of Miami too, just because it feels so good right now. I still pray, you know what I mean? Records like that. Nobody's favorite. Just showing people
that record with Gunplay.
Just showing people what that loyalty mean. Gunplay Murdoch, after being around the world 20 times. After being in, man, it may be just 2 or 3, maybe 4 or 5. I don't know. It ain't too many people in a better position than I am. But I'm still showing loyalty to my little dogs. And, to me, that's even more important than anything else.
I'm shocked you ain't put Teflon Don in the top 3.
Teflon Don is musically almost uncomparable, you know what I mean? But when I'm thinking about the album, I'm thinking of where I'm at personally in my career.
Got you.
Not just about music, but I'm thinking of my very first album, which to me, I almost felt like may have never came.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew what that did for me emotionally. And then when I say Deeper Than Rap, I'm thinking of, I know what I'm dealing with in the streets, in the rap game, the hood, dealing with the fact I'm a new millionaire, what come with that. And it's a lot of different things you deal with. So right then, I accepted everything that came with it and said I'll deal with it.
Now, we were talking about
with it.
some of the beefs that you had, and you and T.I. cleaned it up, you and Jeezy cleaned it up.
Right.
You and what about somebody like, let's say, Birdman? Have you ever ran into the same room and had a conversation with Birdman?
No.
Would that be something you'd be open to?
You got to understand, the records I wrote, Idols Become Rivals, it was really genuine. It was really out of love for really seeing what the homies was dealing with. And it was just a way of me tugging his shirt because I know he's somebody he respect versus same way he know he's somebody I respect. Have we spoken? No. May we ever speak again? We may not. But the love and respect I got for Wayne, the love and respect I got for Drake, I'm through speaking on them. It ain't like it's no goofy shit. It ain't no clown shit that we just doing. Nah.
Did Wayne say anything to you about it?
After the record came out, me and Weezy, we bumped into each other. I don't like really disclosing nothing real, but he felt where I came from. You know what I'm saying? He most definitely felt where I came from.
Now, even when last time you were up here, we were talking about this when Meek Mill and Nicki were going through their things, and you said you never trusted Nicki. Have you ever ran into Nicki? Because she's very vocal about her stuff.
She said she went at you on the Joe Budden podcast today. Said she saw you text Meek that she was a keeper after a meeting with her and Obama when all of y'all went to go see Barack.
If somebody went in to meet Obama with you, she is a keeper until you find out otherwise. You know what I mean? And me personally, she was around me a few times, but other than that, she was a huge talent. But she was playing a very important position at the time. She was in between Meek and Drake at the time. And what she don't know and she may not understand, coming from a big homie like myself, playing that position, that was a very fragile role. And it would be very easy to put that responsibility on her. But that ain't what, I tried to make it to. But most definitely when I seen it go to sour, it would be easy to assume she may have had something to do with that. And if somebody tell you they didn't, they lying. But everybody moved forward. She moved forward, she doing her thing. I'm happy to see her do that. Meek doing his thing, Drizzy, they doing their thing. That's all I wanted to see at the end of the day.
You got to be proud of Meek.
Of course. Of course. Dream chasers.
Well, y'all not seeing eye to eye one time?
Nah, that was always my dog. That was always my dog. He went through a lot. being locked up, you know, and you know, I just held him down. I did what I could do for him, you know what I'm saying, until he came home.
What's your what about the Nipsey record? How long ago did y'all do that before he passed?
Nipsey, man, sent me that verse maybe less than a month before he passed.
Wow.
Yeah. We was in the studio out in L.A. maybe a month and a half before that. Kicked it in the studio. I posted a picture maybe a day before my album was released the last time I was in the studio with him. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I see you've been laying low with your personal life more, too, nowadays. Is that a conscious decision?
You know, that's just me being single, being a boss. You know what I'm saying? So ladies get at me. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on now.
So Rose single?
How I'm looking?
Envy?
Oh, you got hey, Envy. Yo, Envy. Hey, yo.
My guy looks
Envy, you gotta talk to them about this. It's a conspiracy, boy.
It is.
It's her and him. What kind of conspiracy y'all got going on here? God,
my guy looks healthy.
I'm asking you, and you got
I was waiting for him to jump in.
Yo, you gotta stop that.
How did the passing of the good brother Black Bo affect you, man?
Man, it hurt me. You know what I'm saying? That's what made me tap the brakes on the album for a little while because, you know, it hurt me. That was my dog. That was my right hand. And it still do. We all miss Black. You know, Black was as real as they come. You know what I'm saying? So he'll never be replaced. And now at this point, you know, I just want him to, you know, land, you know, rest in peace. You know what I'm saying?
How does Rose grieve?
Man, I think well, let's say Black Bo, I felt that. That was a whole nother. That's when you just sit in the room and you just chill for a little while, man. You know what I'm saying? But being, knowing Black Bo and us being from where we from, you got to celebrate Black Bo. Mm-hmm. That's what they'll want you to do. Man, let's go get this paper, man. I'm telling you, you know what I mean? Let's go make these moves. Man, let's shoot these films next year. Let's do this. Let's launch the film company. That's what we do in 2020. We launching the TV and film company. You know what I mean? So that's what Black Bo want to see us doing.
All right.
Now, the memoir is coming out soon. Are there stories that you told in this that other people might not know, like stories about people, like maybe you said something about Trick Daddy that he might not have heard before, or Tony Draper, that they're going to be finding out for the first time reading this book?
I'm sure it's a lot of people going to be finding out a lot of things for the first time, but that's what the book for, you know what I mean? And, you know, I may ruffle some feathers. I may piss some people off. But hopefully I intrigue some minds.
It's a great fucking read.
That's what I'm talking about. And if that's coming from somebody that's losing their fucking mind, y'all know what that means, you know what I'm saying?
It'll be out September 3rd.
September 3rd.
Yep.
Yes. And the album's out now.
Yeah, of course. Miami too.
The album's out now.
We appreciate you for joining us, man.
Man, I'm happy to come here, you know what I'm saying? I come kick it with y'all every time, you know what I'm saying? You know how we do this shit.
You set the alarms off in here.
It pretty much did. All right. Well, it's Rick Ross. We appreciate you again. Let's play a joint of the album. What you want to hear of the album? What you want to play?
What y'all want to hear of the album?
Oh, man, I'll go with Nobody's Fool with Gunplay.
Nobody's
That's
favorite.
hard.
Let's go. Let's touch him that. Nobody's favorite.
All right, it's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.